Welcome back to the Pave America podcast. We have a very special guest today, the first sales manager who made an appearance on the podcast, Mr. Rickey out of Alpha Paving, specifically the Austin division, correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Well, welcome to the podcast. As always, we also have our co-host here, Mr. Zach Milewski. Was going to leave you out of it, man. Don't worry.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate
it. Rickey, welcome on, man. First thing first, before we jump into business, you have that guitar hanging behind you. Do you play?
No. It's a funny thing that you brought that up. There used to be a guy that worked here. He officed in this office, and his wife worked here as well. It's Kathy. Yeah. It was her name. And Mike said, I've always wanted to write a song for Kathy, so I'm going to buy a guitar and learn how to play it and write her song. So he bought the guitar, hung it up on the wall, and it's stayed there ever since. And he's no longer with the company either. So I get that question all the time, though.
It must be good luck or something, right?
Yeah. I'm not touching it.
You guys are doing something right over there.
Uh-huh. Right. Yeah. That's the sales jingle. Rickey will pull it down after a big sale and
there you go.
So awesome, man. Well, I think Alpha Paving, as part of being the Pave America platform, obviously has a huge reputation. Definitely one of the larger companies in our platform, and very well deserved. You guys, your branding, your positioning, the expansion that you guys have had has been nothing short of what I consider legendary in our business. And so to be speaking to a guy kind of behind the scenes of putting up the big numbers yourself is pretty awesome. So I want to just take this time to pull some knowledge out of you. But first and foremost, let's jump into your story. How the heck did you get into asphalt paving?
So I went to school at Texas State University in San Marcos. I was in a fraternity, left college, graduated from college, came back home, had a fraternity brother that was building homes. And I had graduated with a business management degree. Okay. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Graduated from college, a fraternity brother said, hey, I build homes. It's a great job. Work outside, no boss breathing down your neck, and, make some decent money. I said, all right, give it a shot. So I went and worked with him for about 3 years. That was right in 2008 when the crisis came. The company shut down. I got laid off. I was out of work for about a month. Then I landed on my feet with this big custom home builder. And I had worked there for about 9 years. Well, that custom home builder was the same custom home builder that built my boss's house at Alpha Paving, Scott Sneed, the owners. So,
wow.
And so as that happened, we built his home. I continued to work at PIB for a while. And when I came to a point that I was ready to move on, I had placed a call to Robert, another fraternity brother of mine who worked at Alpha, and said, y'all got anything going? He was like, it's funny that you ask. Scott was just asking about you. I said, okay. And then that was that.
Isn't that crazy how that works? That's awesome, man. How cool.
It really was. Robert, who works here at Alpha, is our senior estimator. He had a relationship with Scott. So Scott actually stole Robert from PIB, or from my company that I worked with. Me and Robert worked together. Scott stole Robert, and then a year later, he ended up getting me over there.
Dang, went 2 for 2. Stole both you guys, huh? Wow, look at that.
Is Robert Bobby Edwards, by the way?
No. So Bobby Edwards is our ops director. Robert Salinas is our senior estimator.
Gotcha. Okay. Trying to piece it together over there.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, man. That's a very interesting story on how that happened. I know Scott Sneed, I'm sure he probably had a nice small shanty built for him. So
it's a great house. Yeah. Great house.
Oh, man. Well, that's awesome. So before that, it sounds like it was more kind of project management experience that you had. When did you first start learning like the game of sales? Was it at this position here at Alpha?
So I had always been in the project management side of the construction, home building for my whole career. At my last company, I was there for 9 years, started out as a builder. Then I got moved up to estimating and purchasing director. And then I got moved up after that to project manager. So I was kind of handling half of our Austin division, all the land sales, home sales, managing all that stuff. So once I was in that role, I had a lot of face-to-face with clients. You know, I would draw plans out with them. I'd price the plans with them. We'd spend hours on end. Meanwhile, you know, our sales guy was just kind of sitting right next to us, but it was me kind of carrying the load with these buyers, and I'd create relationships with them. It would be a year-long sales process with these people. So, you know, $1 million, $2 million homes, there's a lot that goes into it. After doing that for about 3 years, that was when I left that company. That's what I was doing. You know, at that time, I never considered myself in sales. And it's funny to hear me say this. I still don't consider myself a sales guy. When I came over here to Alpha, it was Robert told me kind of what the job entailed as an estimator project manager. You're meeting people out on site, you know, bidding jobs, scheduling jobs, billing jobs, and running the jobs. And the only thing I heard out of that was running jobs. You know, that's what I do, is like, you know, a project manager. So, you know, after doing that for outside sales here for Alpha for about 5 years, that's when Andrew and Scott had approached me about the sales director role. And, you know, I'm talking to them, and I just remember saying, I still don't know if I consider myself a sales guy. You know, I hate it when sales guys try to sell me stuff. I hate being sold stuff, if that makes any sense. I want to be the one making the decision. I want to talk to someone who knows what the product is, you know, and that's kind of how I approach it. You know, I'm not going to sell stuff to people, and I guess that's why I still kind of feel that I'm in my head. I don't look at myself as a sales guy. I look at myself as a problem solver, I guess. But that's when I got into sales, I guess, was at the last company. And then, you know, once I was here, it was just full-fledged. That's just what we did.
It makes total sense too, man. I mean, this industry, estimators you're not necessarily having to overcome objections. You're not having to work on different closes and stuff like that. The true like salesman pitches and all that.
Exactly.
It's really what I've noticed, I'm sure you've noticed, is how well can your clients trust you? Because clients in our business don't want to go shopping around for a million different vendors to bid on these jobs. They want to have like a go-to guy. They want Rickey to be their go-to guy. And if they can trust him, whether Rickey does a good, okay, or bad job, but they can trust him, they'll go ahead and bring you repeat business. So I can see how you feel, not necessarily part of the salesman culture, I guess, being in sales in this business.
Bobby, you had brought up Bobby Edwards earlier. You know, he's been at this company since day one. He's our ops director. That's who trained me. The one thing Bobby always said to all of us, as it pertained to being a good estimator, was go make a friend. Just go make a friend, and that's all you got to worry about. Treat the client right. Be there, answer questions for them. We're not trying to steal all their money out of their pocket. We want to service them and do what they need that fits within their budget. And sometimes that may be a little bit this year, but it could be more next year, or whatever that is. And it's always just kind of doing right by the client and being honest with them and listening to their objections, and, you know, giving them the info and letting them kind of make those decisions is really what creates a relationship. When they can kind of see that this guy's honest, he's not jerking me around, you know. That's just gold. That's what we try to hammer down with all of our guys.
I agree. What do you think your project management skills played in your success within just sales as a whole? So I have my own thoughts on it, but you know, from a project management standpoint, and you kind of progress into sales and then become sales leader, what do you think, you know, project management had to do with the success of that role?
I think it had everything to do with it. And specifically, you know, anyone can kind of go out and just manage a job that just goes perfect, right? Everyone's got good crews. Everything's laid out. Here's the job. Here's the work. The crew does it. You bill it. But what takes a good project manager, and this is kind of where it spills over into sales, is when issues happen, right? When the client's not happy, when the guy's machine broke down, the job's taking twice as long, when you have issues to handle on a job that you really have to be a project manager at that point, not only fix it with the crew, but smooth it over with the client. Let them know that, hey, this stuff does happen. We're going to stand behind it. We're going to make it right. We're going to make sure you're satisfied at the end of the day. That right there, just doing those steps when issues would come up, That created a absolutely solid relationship with that client, 9 times out of 10. Most people always know things happen. It's how you handle that and kind of move forward with it, is really what makes all the difference. So that's been the biggest deal. Project management, we always told our guys, if there's ever any issues that pop up on a job, it has to be handled immediately. Make sure the client knows. Make sure you're the one bringing it up. Don't let them bring it to you. And that's not a perfect approach every time, but it's a pretty worthwhile approach for these guys. And if they continue to kind of keep that at the forefront of their mind, most problems will be not only fixed, but you'll get a good relationship out of it, and it'll help your sales after that point. So that project management 100% is where I can point to success.
You're exactly right. You're solving their problem. And we're in construction, so things are going to happen inevitably, and you're going to have to run to the problem. I like that you said that. If you're able to do that in our industry, answer your phone and do what you say you're going to do, you're going to be successful by default, pretty much. So,
Yep.
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. As a sales manager, so kind of what are your goals, objectives? What does the day-to-day look like for you over there at Alpha?
So I'm managing our Austin maintenance team here, and then we're greenfielding San Antonio as well. So we have a guy down in San Antonio. We're starting up a San Antonio division. So I'm
Awesome.
kind of managing both of those divisions right now. As far as our San Antonio, it's one-on-one with our guy, Big Jim, down there. We talk a lot every day about things that are happening, bids he's putting out, and I'm really there for him. I tell him, you pick up the phone, you call me, you text me, anything you need, I'm here. It's almost like I'm telling him, let me be your secretary. The guys around here, every day, it's making sure the right leads go to the right guys. It's reviewing bids for our guys, being around the office and just checking in with them. You know what I mean? Making sure they're doing good and not too stressed out. Everyone is underwater right now with bids and bid opportunities. So, that's not lost on me as a manager. I need to make sure these guys are, keeping their head above water and they're still enjoying their job and stuff like that. So, if there's opportunities like this, probably into May when we get a lot of leads, I'll start offering to pick some of those up for the guys if they need me to and stuff like that. But
There you go.
day-to-days around here in the office, they're really just here for the guys, being here for any issues they have and doing whatever I can to help promote sales.
That's incredible, man. And would be technically your third market. Obviously, Texas is so huge, but it's still a completely different market across the state that you guys are expanding into. What are some of the challenges that you run into with expanding into the new markets, even if it is just within the same state?
So San Antonio's about 2 hours down the road from Austin. Up until we had our guy in San Antonio, we've always handled San Antonio out of the Austin office. But that comes with challenges, right? So if we're doing a 5-ton pothole repair in San Antonio, I got to add 4 hours of drive time for a crew, machine, you guys know. So that's been a real big challenge. That has been the challenge for us for the past 6 years since I've been here and we've been running San Antonio out of Austin, is being able to compete on pricing with the local guys there. It's forced us to develop and curate and vet a subcontractor list, a subcontractor support system for Jim down there right now for him to compete on jobs. But that's been really the biggest challenge is, we want to get enough work where we can start looking to hire a crew and get an office and stuff like that. But it is such baby steps in this process. And I'm learning that right now as we go, that it just doesn't happen fast. You got to keep throwing at it every single day and just kind of trust the process. And that's just kind of our approach.
Most definitely. Zach's living that right now with
I was going to say, I'm living
Arizona, New Mexico expansion for sure.
So y'all going through the same thing, huh?
Yeah.
Going through the same thing, man. Yeah. You know what, though? I like the idea of greenfielding something because we have such a unique business. And I think our core team and just everybody around us has such a great camaraderie that we have something great to build off of. And so, other than, if we were to just acquire something or somebody and then we have to try to tuck them in underneath us, it's going to be hard to kind of build that culture around
Oh,
it and like
100%.
instill it. So we can do it just kind of like you said, like from building a home, it's like getting the foundation put down, making sure that we're picking up the right work. Same thing, building out a list of certified partners in the area that we can subcontract to along the way. And for us, it's once we get to a certain threshold or backlog of a certain type of work, then it's go time. We're getting there, so we're fingers crossed things are coming together pretty quickly, but it's definitely not easy and it's not for the faint of
No,
heart.
man. You know, one of the biggest internal challenges I have with this greenfielding operation is it's like my inner guilt of me feeling like I'm leaving Jim on an island out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just to go wade in the waters himself. He lives in San Antonio, right? So that's been something that's been, I'm trying to wade through that to figure out what I can do to make sure he feels like he's supported, and he's not just out there fighting on his own. So that's, as I figure out that answer, I'll let you guys know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, please do.
Amen.
Please
Well,
do.
it says about you a lot about you too. I mean, just servant leadership. The fact that you feel like that push, like man, I wish I was out there helping them. It's a piece of good leadership, in and of itself. But trust the process, as cliche as it sounds, and I'm sure you guys are going to land where you're supposed to. You guys are a
Yeah.
beast out there. So
Yeah, it's hard to accept the slow growth when you've been with Alpha, who has grown so fast, and but I think in a way it forces you to become a little bit more creative,
Oh yeah.
and especially expanding into the new markets. We're always talking about, okay, if after X amount of period of time we're not getting traction, here's how we're going to shift our strategy, and let's try this. You just got to keep trying till eventually you find something that hits.
It is, man. It's got me hungry. You know what I mean? As if it's my first
Right.
day working for Alpha Paving as a young estimator. I don't care if it's a $700 striping job down in San Antonio. We're celebrating that success with Jim just because we're at the ground level. That these are all great things that are happening. So it has got me hungry. It's got our guy down there in San Antonio hungry. So it's been fun.
Oh, most definitely, man. And I like the way you put that. And I think I see that too in Zach's eyes as well. Like he's back to the day one
Yeah.
hunger, because things Colorado are kind of sailing, so we're good. So it's like, what's the next page? What's the next chapter that we're turning and writing? So you've been with Alpha for what, 5, 6 years, maybe almost even
I
7.
think next month is my 8-year anniversary.
Wow, 6, 7, 8. One of those, but anyways,
Yeah.
a long time, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So you've been with Alpha pre-acquisition and then post-acquisition. Let's kind of back up for somebody in your position that went through the acquisition process and then went with into Pave America. What have you felt that has done with Alpha Paving and then yourself personally as a professional within the organization?
The support has been unbelievable. Just from financially from Pave America, just with their management in there, getting to meet other, paving company owners on the platform like you guys, that has been unbelievable. Going into it, I don't know about, I'm sure most non-company owners, but employees were a little nervous about it, and I was, we all were, it was just fear of the unknown. But we trusted in Andrew. He speaks the truth to us all the time. He's got our best interest at heart, and the things that he told us, we believed him. We had no choice to, because he's always told the truth to us. So once that process went through and that sale happened, it kind of moved slow, right? 1 year went by and not a lot of changes happened. Year 2 went by, and now it's full on. Pave America's got their arms around this thing, and it's been great. There was a little bit of fear in the unknown in the beginning, but now seeing what they have brought to the table and what they're giving us every day, there's just no question they have given us a lot of support to continue to grow.
I love that. Yeah,
Yes.
I totally agree. And it is a hard line you ride, especially going through the process. You can't really say and divulge too much to the employees, but once it's all said and done, it's hard to control what people's emotions are going to be like, because people will only really take what you're saying for face value. Then also as an owner, I'm sure you felt this too, Zach, is like you really didn't know if you could trust what the other side of the message, of the messaging was going to look like, or what 6 months post acquisition was going to look like. But
totally.
At some point, I know we felt the impact right away. Go ahead, Zach.
No, you're exactly right. And that was part of the decision-making process for us. I mean, you hear horror stories in our industry, and not just in our industry, but across the board of, private equity gets their hands into something and then it fumbles, and it's bad strategy. Like one thing I think that we've got that is a leg up on everybody else in the industry is we've got a CEO, Tom York, who is walking with everybody on a day-to-day basis. He obviously is not from this industry, but has taken this industry and made it his, by living it, breathing it, putting the right people around him. And, for us, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. It's companies like Alpha that were honestly the decision makers for us too, when it was time to go decide who we wanted to partner with. I spoke with Scott for a long time leading up to it. They did the right thing. They were like, you need to talk to Scott Sneed. You guys are very similar. So I was like, okay. So he and I started talking, and like very quickly, I was like, you know what? He was a big part of the decision-making process, and other people like Wayne Turner and Eric Finley, Ryan Laughlin, like a lot of the leaders around the organization, Tom Esso,
all
just
great
so many good people, right?
Yep.
So you're like, man, if everybody is this direction, like it's hard to lose when you've got that many high achievers,
When you told me they said you got to talk to Scott, I was like, oh, that's it. Yeah, he's gonna get him. Scott's the closer, right? That's what he does.
He's the closer.
So, my two bosses is Andrew and Scott, the two owners of Alpha. Personality wise, they could not be any more opposite, right? They're like the true yin and the yang, two different sides of the coin. But one thing that they are just so consistent on is just their message to our company and the truth that they speak and the way they treat their employees. They are like both on the same page with that. But it's a great balance and a great mix, and it's a lot of fun to kind of watch those two interact sometimes, and it works. Whatever they built, it works around here because everyone's bought in.
I love it. Love to hear it.
They do say opposites attract for a reason, right? It's
no doubt.
The yin and yang partnership. I love that. Mm. What do you think? So you manage a pretty large team, I think, within just the Austin division. How big are you guys right now for sales guys?
Sales guys. So we have, I've got 5 maintenance estimators. We've got 2 guys in public works that run our public works division. And then we have 2 more in our new construction division that just do the new construction for our civil contractors. So, and then 2 more striping estimators that, they handle all the striping. So there's probably close to 10 to 11 estimators.
That's a large team. They say, one one manager should be able to handle within 8 to 10 people, 8 to 10 heads effectively. So I know you're a busy guy for sure. So
I'll tell you that they make it easy on me. Our public works division is just run by the top of the top, new construction, the same thing. I focus most of my time with our maintenance team. But those guys are they're so good. So
absolutely. And it makes a huge difference. And, the sales guys and estimators in our business, if they are good, they should be pretty self-sufficient. And, you can just look at their numbers on Friday through the CRM and see, yep, they're right on schedule like they always have been every single week. So it's good to have a solid team. What would you say, just personality-wise, the difference between somebody who sells maintenance work, somebody who sells new construction, versus somebody who does municipal work?
So I would say that's a very interesting question.
I know.
I would say municipal is, if you're looking at it from project management and estimating, right? Because that's our maintenance team are both of those. For municipal, I would probably say 95% is project management, 5% estimating, because they're doing, public bid jobs. They're not really having to schmooze clients and do all that sort of stuff. They're going off of numbers in our past experiences within the city jurisdiction. So 95% probably project management for them. On the other side, on the new construction, it's probably flipped. Those guys, their client base are the civil contractors in town. So all the dirt work guys. That is who they work with. That is who they pay attention to. That's who they treat. Those are the guys that they service. And as you guys know, the construction industry is a good time in industry. So he makes sure that those civil contractors continue to come to us and with their asphalt needs. And then in the maintenance side, it's like 50-50, so it's public works is rural project management oriented. New construction is much more sales heavy. And then maybe the maintenance is probably right in the middle, 50-50.
That's a good way of putting it. I agree.
Fair analogy.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the estimating part is something that's so important regardless of what seat you're in, but it just depends on how much of it's going to be used, right? So super interesting to think that. Another kind of hard question for you. So studies are showing sometime in the 2030s, they expect 41% of the construction workforce to be retired or out of the workforce. What are you guys doing to prepare for the never-ending labor problems? But what's your guys' approach in bringing in new talent to Alpha Paving?
It is funny that you just asked that, because about 3 days ago on Friday, I had an email sent to me from my alma mater, Texas State University, which is 45 minutes down the road. Their construction science department is very, very good, especially here in the state of Texas. They had emailed me about interns and internships and grads coming and working on. And I had never, ever thought about that as, a possible option to get new blood in here. But once I saw that, it definitely made me read that email and think about it over the weekend. And I took it seriously. So for the fact that you're asking me this question now I'm not sure if I'd consider that a coincidence or divine intervention or something.
Right.
But it's important though, our maintenance estimators, for better or for worse, they're cut from the same cloth. Okay. When we go and hire a maintenance estimator, I'm looking for a specific individual, preferably with zero asphalt experience. I want someone who can hold a conversation, who can speak well, who's not braggadocious or doesn't boast all over himself. I want someone who can just be humble and be nice and, talk to. So when we're interviewing people, those are the guys we're looking for, which because of that, it kind of casts a super wide net on who we can bring into here. So when we're going out and looking for maintenance estimators, we're not looking down one lane just for guys in the asphalt industry or the construction industry. We actually prefer them to be completely, void of any other asphalt knowledge prior, so we can train them and we can instill kind of the culture and the alpha way into them without having to reverse any bad habits, if that makes sense.
Oh, that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. We're kind of in the same boat ourselves. There's certain skilled people that you got to have in certain areas, right? But they got to be the right fit. But I agree, if you can grab people, especially people that are great at listening, people that are solution based, and critical thinking is good. You can be successful in this industry. It's just paying attention to the details.
It'll be a quick learner. That's it. Because there's so many what ifs that can happen. And I think as a sales leader, it's impossible to train all the possible what ifs that could come down the pipeline, especially on the maintenance side of a day-to-day, of a scope of work, of a job being performed. So someone who's able to pivot and understand quickly is going to be set up for success in this business for sure.
In my last company I worked for, it was that custom home builder I talked about earlier. We were basically a GC, right? We ran the projects and we subbed everything out. So close to anywhere from 50 to 75 trades on one home, managing those trades and all that stuff. When I came over to Alpha, Alpha's on the subcontractor side of things, not the GC side. So we're a subcontractor. So, when I came over here and this isn't to minimize asphalt paving, but it's not rocket science, right? We tack it, right. We prime it, we pave it and roll it and maintain it after that. It was with all of my experience managing all those trades at the last company. When I came here, problems here did not seem like problems to me. And I still don't view them as problems. I've been through problems before, I've had homeowners yelling at me over the phone because their tile was installed wrong. Those are the kind of headaches I dealt with. These aren't problems over here. They may be little issues, but we'll fix them and it won't be a big deal, So it wasn't to minimize asphalt. It was just the contrast of being on the GC side of things now to being on the sub side of things. Friends ask me all the time, hey, I want to go build homes. They knew I built homes for a long time. And they say, I want to go build homes. Who's a good builder to work for? My first response is, do not go on the GC side. Go work for a subcontractor. Your life will be better. I promise you. Whether they heed that advice, I don't know. But that's my 2 cents I give to them.
That's a good way of putting it. Good.
That might be a hack, Hayden. We might have to go after some people who have been in the custom home world, because I couldn't imagine. Yeah, you're right. Like, they're building their dream house and, you're at the forefront of it. And you probably have a lot of different...
Especially at that price point, there is no room for imperfections at all. So I can imagine.
It's a really emotional transaction for clients when they're spending $2 million of their own money on their home. So they're emotionally invested. And, once you grasp that, it kind of makes your job a little bit easier, and it took me a couple of years to realize that don't fight these people on these things. They're dumping a lot of their money in it. They want you to build it for them. Just kind of be there to help that process go smoothly with them. Once I got to that point at my last company, it made a world of difference just within me and in my head and, my stress levels and stuff like that. So it was a big changing point for me.
Just understanding who your clients are and what they really care about. I totally agree.
Yeah. And truly putting them, out front. I know they come to us to build the homes for them, but they're the ones that truly matter. You know what I mean? And I know they're going to have their baggage and they're going to have their issues they're going to bring to the table, and my job was just to smooth it out for them, make them smile, make them love their home, and just kind of keep that at the top of the list of things to do,
That's awesome, man. Well, I mean, I couldn't said it better myself. And I think, as we kind of wrap up, man, it's your experience shows just from the custom building side to the team that you're developing, you lead over now at Alpha Paving. Like I say this a lot, life makes sense backwards. And I think, whatever you believe in, but we believe in God here, is God's perfectly planned you for the position, the seat that you're in with the company that you're a part of. And so, it's truly an honor. And I've learned so much just even in our small interactions and just being on the same calls and meeting rooms as you. So it's a pleasure to have you part of this conversation, just getting to learn more. And I know you probably are behind 50 to 60 emails already. So I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but
get behind, you stay behind. You know what I mean?
Real quick, Hayden, before we wrap it up, I wanted to ask Rickey, why are clients choosing Alpha Paving on their projects? What makes you guys different? Why are you guys the best in the area?
I can tell you it's not because of price, because we are not the cheapest. They go with Alpha because of the way our estimators treat them, and being honest, and the way that they don't feel like they're trying to suck every dime out of their pocket. That is truly the way we get work, because we are a $100 million company with 150 employees. You can't go do a pothole for the same price that, a guy down the street can. So you've got to get creative, and you've got to figure out a way to set yourself apart that isn't based on price. Sometimes we win that battle. Most of the times we win that battle, but it's a battle we fight every single day,
Yep. Love to hear it, man. Love to hear it. You guys are doing it right. guys are growing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the goals this year and what you guys accomplish. And yeah, I'm looking forward to our next discussion. Maybe we do one in 2026, just kind of recap the year-over-year growth and see if anything's changed, perspectives changed, if San Antonio took off, or I imagine it will. So, Rickey, thank you so much again.
Absolutely, man. Thank you guys. Hayden, always a pleasure. Zach, good to see you, man. This is awesome.
Same.
A lot smoother than I had in my head. So this is good.
You did great, brother. I would just wish you would have pulled out that guitar, but it's
maybe hey, 2026.
There
all
we
right,
go.
man. Well, thank you guys. That was Pave America Podcast, episode 4 with Rickey from Alpha Paving. Take care.